There's a new fungus taking over the world. It settles in humans, is extremely hard to treat, and lasts for weeks on surfaces even after the patient who had it is long gone. In 2009, doctors in Japan found this new species of fungus in a patient's ear. They called it Candida auris and thought there was no reason to panic about it. In a couple of years, the same fungus appeared in South Africa, Venezuela, and the Indian subcontinent. Each case was a completely different set of genes, and 1 in 3 patients who had it wouldn't survive. And if you think it will never possibly affect you, there's some bad news. This sneaky little thing is already in America. It was first identified in New York in 2016. The state has become a real hotspot for it ever since, although the fungus was already found in 29 states. It's especially dangerous for people who already have some health conditions. Candida auris didn't just magically show up out of nowhere and must have long lived on Earth without us knowing. Humans and other mammals used to be immune to fungi because of our high body temperatures. But it looks like these bad boys have adapted to warmer environments, and nothing can stop them now. If you love to walk around woods and pick mushrooms, you gotta watch out for this guy, the death cap. You can easily mistake these sneaky fungi for edible mushrooms. To prove that they deserve their name, death caps are responsible for 90% of all mushroom-related fatalities each year. Originally from the UK and parts of Ireland, death caps have hitchhiked their way around the globe over the past century, spreading to Australia and North America. They've been rapidly taking over California and have even popped up as far north as British Columbia. The big mystery is why these mushrooms are spreading so fast, when exactly they arrived, and how they're impacting local ecosystems. These little guys are so dangerous because of their unique toxins. They might help the mushroom fend off predators. Studying the death caps is tricky because scientists would need to recreate the perfect growing conditions in a lab to analyze their DNA. These lethal guys also have some evil cousins, the destroying angels. These all-white guys look a lot like perfectly edible button mushrooms and meadow mushrooms. So, a lot of people eat them by mistake and find out about it 5 to 24 hours later. The symptoms are really hard to handle, and just 1 drop of their ammotoxins can take your life. That's why one of the destroying angel species is called the most toxic North American mushroom. If there was the best edible mushroom doppelganger competition in the woods, the web caps would likely take the gold. There are 2 types of them that look almost identical to each other and to some edible mushrooms. These sneaky fungi contain a toxin, which first makes you feel like you've caught a cold. The scary part is that the toxin takes from 2 days to 3 weeks to show symptoms, so doctors often misdiagnose it. If not treated in time, the toxin can have some really scary consequences for your health and could even make you depart this life. One English author accidentally picked and served these mushrooms to his family. 4 of them ended up in the hospital. The writer himself, his wife, and his brother-in-law all needed new kidneys after this experience. There are all sorts of bizarre wild mushrooms, from those that look like volcanoes to rods and veils and flowers. If you love stranger things, there is one type just for you. You can visit the real-life equivalent of the upside down in Australia. People are finding the creepiest sort of fungi in their backyards, and you'd think the residents of Down Under are used to all sorts of monsters. And the fungus smells as horrible as it looks. Local scientists explain these monsters are versions of stinkhorns. You can also find their varieties in Europe and North America. They like cooler temperatures and use a woody mulch to grow. Flies love its spores and help spread the fungus. Both the anemone stinkhorn and the octopus stinkhorn that were recently found are safe for humans and pets, but only at the egg stage when the smell is not so potent. You probably wouldn't eat it later anyway because of the decaying flesh odor. Morels are some of the most delicious mushrooms with an earthy, nutty flavor. They have a meaty texture, unlike most mushrooms, and that's probably why chefs and their clients love them so much. They only grow in the wild between March and June, which makes them so expensive. And they have an evil lookalike, the false morels. They have caused trouble in the US and Europe. Some folks claim false morels are safe to eat if prepared correctly, but would you really want to risk it? If you're a forager, you need to learn to tell the difference between the real and the fake thing. True morels have small, pitted hollows in their caps. They're completely hollow from the tip of the cap to the bottom of the stem. On false morels, the cap may be ridged, wrinkled, waved, or smooth, but it doesn't have the hole-like pits of a true morel. The inside is not hollow, but filled with cottony fibers or chunks of tissue. Poison hemlock is a super toxic plant from the carrot family. It's easy to confuse it with wild carrot, wild parsnip, or wild parsley. And trust me, if you make that mistake, you'll seriously regret it. Every part of the hemlock plant, seeds, roots, stems, leaves, and fruit, is poisonous and can take your life if you eat it. Some scientists even believe that the famous Greek philosopher Socrates was executed using this plant. Settlers brought hemlock to the US from Europe as a garden plant, so thanks to them, it now grows all over the country on fences, roadsides, ditches, meadows, and in other low-lying areas. If you ever eat this plant by mistake, you need to call 911 or head to the nearest emergency room immediately because symptoms can appear within 15 minutes. Unlike poison ivy, poison hemlock usually won't give you any problems if you just touch it. But it's still best to play it safe, especially if you have sensitive skin. White snakeroot is an innocent-looking plant that took the life of Abraham Lincoln's mother. She didn't even have to eat the plant or its white flowers. Nancy Hanks passed away after drinking the milk of a cow that was gazing at the meadow with white snakeroots. Yep, the meat and milk from livestock that eat this plant can pass the toxin to humans. The result will be less than pleasant and more than dangerous, so you'd be better off not trying it. Farmers know about this hazard, so they do everything to kick the white snakeroot from where their animals wander. Have you ever seen this sneaky woody vine with slender branches and bright red pods that look like crab eyes climbing over other plants outside your neighbor's house? Someone probably brought it from India or Asia as a decoration a long time ago. It grows really quickly and actually has some practical uses. Some people use it for healing purposes, others to make necklaces and rosaries, and even folk musical instruments like maracas. Before you tick it off the bad guys list, if you happen to chew it and swallow some of its seeds, you'll be a goner. And because the seeds spread easily with humans or birds, they might end up near someone who doesn't know about this. It can also take the life of some animals like cats, dogs, and horses. They say that even some of the jewelry makers who accidentally pricked their fingers when working with the seeds passed away. Touching the plant itself shouldn't do you any harm though.
That's it for today. So hey, if you pacified your curiosity, then give the video a like and share it with your friends. Or if you want more, just click on these videos and stay on the bright side.